Good morning and welcome back to another morning mobility session. This is, as always, 20 to 30 minutes of gentle movement. All that you need is some floor space, maybe a yoga mat or comfortable surface to lay on, and something to hold on to for balance, like a wall or a chair or a broomstick. So we'll go ahead and get started with our first mobility exercise, which is going to be for the neck. We're going to start by looking over one shoulder, over the other shoulder, and then lift up and then tuck your chin down. Pretend you're checking your blind spot over each shoulder, lifting your head up and then tucking the chin all the way down. Repeat shoulder, shoulder, chin all the way up, and then tuck it all the way down. One more time for each shoulder, shoulder, chin up and down. Perfect. For the second one, we're going to go on to shoulder mobility. And so we're going to start with arms in a T position, and we're going to raise them up overhead, back to a T, then pull your shoulders together and then bring them forward. Then we're going to lift up, bring down, pull the shoulder blades together, and then back. Reach, T, pull, squeezing the shoulder blades back to the start. Reach, T, squeeze the shoulder blades back to the start. One more time. Reach up, back to a T, pull the shoulder blades back, and then rest. Perfect. And then we're moving down the chain onto hips for some hip circles. This is where you want a little balance support with a wall or holding onto a chair, even a countertop, anything that just helps you balance will do. And then we have our weight in one foot, and I'm starting with my foot lifted and my knee at 90 degrees. I'm going to bring my knee back to the side and to the front, and then I'm going to reverse, bring it to the side, and then return to that starting position. So I'm taking my knee, kind of drawing a big backwards circle, then go here, retrace that circle, back to the start. Knee goes back to the side, to the front, a little bit of coordination in this one. To the side, back, and down. One more time for this side. Knee goes back, side, front, side, back, and down. Very good. Then we'll switch and see how that feels on the other side. Again, starting in this foot popped position, bringing that knee back, side, front, side, back, and to that bent knee position. Repeat, back, side, front, side, back, and down. It's totally okay if your knee is staying a little bit lower than mine. That just depends on our hip mobility and the bit of hip and glute strength required to do this motion. If you have tight hamstrings, you might feel them engage a little bit on this one. That's okay. That's just working to hold your foot up in that position. We'll do one more time. Really big circle, back, side, front, and side, back, and down. Perfect. Alrighty, so as per usual, we repeat our circuits for 2 times. So we'll go back to the top with that neck mobility. Just standing, arms are relaxed, and we'll go ahead and look over the shoulder, over the other shoulder, lifting up the chin and tucking it down. This blind spot checking turn of the head is a really good one to do. You might notice that you have way more limited mobility on one side compared to the other. So this is one that you can really see a lot of improvement with over time if you get that consistent repetition. That's our key with mobility, is one session. Might make you feel good and a little bit looser, but in order to improve, we need to repeat and keep working on that range of motion. Last one for each. Lifting the chin up and tucking it down. Perfect. Then onto our shoulders, starting at that T hand position, then lift up and reach, back to the T, pull the arms backwards, squeeze the shoulder blades, and then a little bit forwards. Arms up, reach, back down, arms pull back, and come forward. Good. Up and reach, back down to a T, pull the arms back and back. This is one that we really want to make sure that when you're pulling the arms back, you're using the shoulder blades to initiate that movement. That's what's really going to make the difference. It helps us work on that chest and shoulder mobility. Squeeze. One more time. Arms up, reach, down, and pull, squeeze those shoulder blades, and back forward. Perfect. Alrighty, then we'll go back to that hip mobility, hip circle. So choose whichever side you want to start on. Hold on to that wall for support. Find your bent knee position, and then think about bringing that knee behind you, up to the side and front, out to the side, and back to the start. This is one where it can be really tempting to move your torso quite a bit to help you get extra range of motion, but we want to keep that work in the hip. So as much as you can, try to stay mostly upright. It's okay if you shift forward just a little bit, but try to engage your core and keep that work in the hip. You'll notice it feels a little bit harder if you don't lean forward or backward too much. We'll do one more for this side. Knee as high as you can to finish out this rep. And rest. Perfect. Then switch over, repeating that on the other side. Starting with that foot lifted behind you, backwards, side, front, side, back, and down. Very good. Side and front, side, and down. Really important on this one to take your time and try not to rush through any of the parts that feel sticky or hard. Trying to control it through that movement in those parts that feel a little bit more challenging is what really helps us work on that mobility. So not skipping the hard parts. Last one, back, side, front, side, back, and down. Perfect. Alrighty, then for our second circuit, we're going down to the floor. So try to find a nice, comfortable surface to rest on. And we get to lay down for our first exercise. So find a comfortable position on your back, just nice and relaxed. I'll let you work your way down there. Start with both knees in this bent position. And then what we're going to do is raise one leg up, kind of as much as your hamstring will allow. And then we're going to do ankle circles in this position. So maybe looking at your big toe, you're going to try to draw a circle with that big toe, as smooth and as round as you can. And so try to realize if you're going clockwise or counterclockwise. And now go the other direction. May take a little bit of focus to not have it be kind of a bumpy line, but try to smooth it out as much as you can. Last one. And switch sides. Lifting up your other foot. Takes a little bit of work just to even hold up that leg. And then with that big toe, trace that circle. So we're doing them this way because we get a little passive hamstring stretch, and sometimes being able to watch what your toe is doing can help you get a bigger ankle circle than if we do them standing like we've done or with our foot in front of us. It's just a different way to visualize. Now reverse. Trace that circle in the other direction. Totally normal for one to feel way less coordinated than the other. Last one. And rest. Perfect. Alrighty. Then take your time and we're going to flip over onto your stomach. If you needed to skip this one because it's not comfortable for you to lay on your stomach, that's okay. But see if you can meet me in this low cobra position. Legs are just relaxed. I'm on my elbows with them below my shoulders, and I'm not letting my shoulders creep up to my ears. I'm having a nice long neck. And so then I just tuck my elbows in a tiny bit further and then tuck them in even more. So now we're taking away a little bit of that elbow support. From here, we're gonna lower down towards the mat, and then we're gonna lift back up. Then we're gonna lower down towards the mat and lift back up. If you need to scoot your elbows in even further, that's totally okay. And so this is just a gentle back mobility. It's not too deep of a spinal extension, so don't worry about that unless you feel any pain or tightness. You could just stay in that low cobra with the elbows supported position. Try to keep your chin tucked. You might notice this is engaging a little bit of those muscles that support the neck. That's a good thing. It's helping to strengthen them if you keep this with a nice chin tucked position. Last one, lower and lift. Rest. Perfect. Alrighty. Then if you need to double up your yoga mat for a little more cushion or put a pillow under your knee, feel free, because we're going to be in a half kneeling position for this one. I'm going to put my hands on my hips and then try to think about tucking your hips under to make sure that you're not in an arched back position. And then we're just going to push forward and back to the start. Push forward, back to the start. If you're on a really hard floor in a thin yoga mat, you'll definitely want extra cushion, even a towel. Push forward and back. Push forward. One more time. Push forward and back. Perfect. Maybe using a little balance support to change legs. Finding that position on the other side. Again, tucking the hips. Maybe creep your toes a little bit forward and then push the hips forward and rock back. One mistake you'll see with this movement is people bending over at the torso, but notice it's my hips shifting, not my torso bending over at the hips. So keep that in mind. Push forward, rock back, push forward, rock back. One more time, push forward and rock back. Very good. Alrighty, one round done, one to go for our floor circuit. So give yourself a moment to come back to our floor position, resting with your knees bent. And we'll just give you a moment to take a breath here. Inhale and exhale. One more time, breathe in and breathe out. And then we'll go into our second round of ankle circles. So raise your leg and then start drawing a circle with your big toe. Try to keep the rest of your leg pretty still as you do this so that all of that movement and rotation stays in the ankle. And now reverse, go the other direction. It's okay if your leg needs to lower a little bit over time. One more. And rest. Perfect. And then lift up your other leg. And again, choose whichever direction you like. The ankles is always one of those good, kind of forgotten areas that really makes a difference if we have mobile ankles and strong calves as we age. So make sure that you don't forget about those guys. Reverse. Trying to really smooth out that motion. One more. And rest. Perfect. Then flip over, going into that cobra position. One option, you could hang out here for the whole time with a nice long neck. Or if you're able, start creeping those elbows in. Keep the chin tucked, maybe looking down at your mat to remind you to do so. And lift back up. Lower and lift. Maybe on this one, remembering to breathe, maybe exhaling as you push away from the mat. Lower. Pull the shoulder blades away from the ears. Lower. Lift. Think nice long neck, chin tucked. We've got one more. Lower and lift. Perfect. And then making your way back up to half kneeling position. A little balance support would be totally fine if you needed it for this one. Doubling up on cushion for your bottom knee as needed. And then tuck your hips under. Creep that toe forward just a smidge and then push the hips forward and back. Should feel a little stretch in that hip flexor right on the front of your hip on the knee that's down. The whole time, think about a string pulling your head up towards your ceiling so that the torso stays nice and tall. Push forward, rock back. One more, push forward and back. Perfect. Switching sides, nice and tall. Tuck the hips under, creep that foot forward, push forward, rock back, push forward. Good. Maybe seeing if you can push forward just a little bit more. Don't overdo it, maybe just an extra inch. Push forward. One more. And rest. Perfect. Alrighty, then we're back up to standing for our third circuit. And for this one, we are going to need a wall. If you don't happen to have a wall in your room for whatever reason, you could just imagine that a wall is in front of you, but I'll show you on the wall here. We're going to do some T's, Y's, and I's. So I'm starting with my thumbs pointing away from the wall, and I'm standing as close as I can to the wall, maybe toes 1 inch away. And then I'm going to pull my arms back, bring them forward, move to a Y, pull back, then move to an I, pull, and back down. Y. Lifting the arms just a few inches away from the wall. T, lift, back. Y, lift, squeeze the shoulder blades back. I, lift, back. Y, lift, back to the wall. T, lift. Good. We're going to do each of those one more time. Y, lift, wall. I, lift, wall. Y, lift, wall. Last one. T, lift, and wall. Very good. Alrighty, and then our second one, we're going to do a walking lateral lunge. So we need space to take at least 2 or 3 steps, which you should mostly be able to do on a little longer than a yoga mat. But starting to one side, I'm going to take a moderate sized step, a little wider than shoulder width, sink down into that leg, keeping the other leg straight, and then push to come back together. We don't have to go very low on this one. Step, sink down, come back up. One more time. Step, sink down, come back up. Good. We're going to come back the way we came. Step, sink down, stand up. I'm keeping everything square, facing forward. That knee is not jutting out to the side. Step, together, and we're going to repeat one more lap. Step, sink into that leg, keep the other leg straight, together, step, sink, stand, step, sink, stand. One more time. Again, not too low, we're watching out for the knees, but just enough so that we feel a little hip stretch on that straight leg. One more time, step, sink, and together. Perfect. Alrighty, and then our last one is going to be a little bit of wrist mobility. For this one, we're going to do the 4 direction movements. So first it's away, then towards you, then bring them inward and outward. So it's away, towards, inwards, outwards, away, towards, in, out, away, towards, in, out. One more of each. Away, towards, in, and out. Perfect. Alrighty, we have one more round of all of these and then we'll be done for the day. So find that position on your wall. Again, maybe even creeping a little bit closer, potentially toes all the way to the wall if that feels okay, but feel free to be an inch or 2 away. Starting with the side of your hand on the wall, thumbs pointing outwards. In that T position, lift, arms back to the wall. Y, lift. I, lift. Y, lift. T, lift. Y, lift. I, lift. Good. Y, lift. T, lift. One more of each. Think about squeezing your shoulder blades to enact that movement. I, lift. Y, lift. Last one. T, lift. Very good. Alrighty, and then back to our hip mobility with that lateral walking lunge. Taking your time with this one, it does require that little bit of coordination. Take a moderate sized step, sink into that leg, keep the knee forwards, stand up tall, step, sink down, knee stays straight, stand tall, step, and stand tall. Very good. Back the way we came. Step, together, step, together, step, together. One more lap. Step, together, taking your time, step, together, sink down, stand up tall, take a breath, keep going, step, together, step, you got it, one more, step, together. Very good. Alrighty, just one thing left to go with our wrist movements. making those fists and starting out with away, towards, in, and out. Away, towards, in, out. Away, towards, in, and out. Away, towards, in, and out. Away, towards, in, and out. One more of each. Away, towards, in, and out. Perfect. Well done. Well, I hope that you enjoyed today's mobility session and feel a little bit looser or warmed up, ready for a strength workout or some cardio. If you're interested in what a workout program or more information from me looks like, feel free to go follow me over on Hello Strength Seniors on Instagram. You can click the link in the description of this video, and we will see you next Tuesday for more morning mobility.